Welcome back, everybody, to this week's live episode of the DCL Duo podcast, brought to you by My Path Unwinding Travel. And without further ado, also our good friends over at the DCL Magazine. Welcome to
DCL
Stephanie
Magazine?
and Danny. There they are.
Look at that. Look at that beautiful shiny magazine.
So excited to have you both join us this evening. And for everyone out there listening or watching, DCL Magazine, fantastic publication. We pay for a subscription ourselves because we only advertise things that we use ourselves and that we enjoy ourselves and we think are quality additions to our community. So super excited to have Stephanie and Danny
I
join
just
us.
buy it for Brian's articles. I'm just going to be honest.
You keep bringing up my articles. There's a lot of good articles.
For Brian's articles.
I'm pretty sure we have a code for DCL Duo listeners too.
We
Not
do.
to just like hit you with the sales pitch right off the jump, but
we do.
DCL Magazine and use code DCL Duo to save.
That's right. All caps DCL Duo. Head to DCL-magazine.com and use that code. Get a subscription today. It's a great magazine. If you like Disney Cruise Line, you will love this magazine. But
yeah, thanks for having us on, guys. We love chatting
Absolutely.
Disney Cruise with you.
Absolutely. Love having you guys on. So we're going to be talking about a cruise that you recently took. I mean, you guys are fresh off the ship.
We got back Thursday.
With your nephew, and we sort of build this as like seeing the Destiny through fresh eyes because you brought your nephew on board, and we've been so curious to have guests on to talk about what the experience is like with kids, especially for the Destiny, and so excited to have you on. Before we dive right in, Sam's got her finger up. We've got news. We forgot the news segment. Do the news, Sam.
Okay, so the news is actually merch news specifically. So first of all, reports from friends, the Morals, who just got on board the Disney Destiny today. Evie is back on board the Disney Destiny. So that cute dog towel animal back on the Destiny as of today. I don't know if she was on last week for you guys, Stephanie and Danny.
I didn't see her in the shop. I looked, but I was pixie dusted a little magnet of her, and I love it so much.
I love that. Okay, the other merch news, which you probably did see on board, is there are now build your own ears. So I'm wearing just a regular Chip and Dale build your own ears on my headphones for those watching on the video live or watching on video later. But they have Disney Cruise Line characters now. And so those are make your own band. There's a band. So the band is just like this band. This one is just the regular one. The Parks one is a black one. But the Disney Cruise Line one is this color blue, like the inside of this. And it says Disney Cruise Line on the side in embroidery, in like a white embroidery with the Disney Cruise Line logo. And then they've got, it's basically the Fab Five plus Daisy and Chip and Dale. So it's Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, Pluto, Daisy, Chip, Dale, and then there's a funnel also. They're really cute. My friends are on board right now, and they got me, I'll see if I can show this up close. They got me these, so the funnel, and essentially I got the 4 of the Fab Five, and then right below that, if you can see in the picture, they're Disney Cruise Line Croc charms. So there are now the Gibbets. So Disney Cruise Line Gibbets, the Croc charms, are now on board as well. So do
you own Crocs, Sam?
Yes.
So we proudly wear our Crocs. They are comfortable. They are functional. We have
multiple pairs.
I don't decorate them. I don't go in for the accessories.
I just got Stitch and Angel Gibbets for mine.
That's true.
One of my pairs has Mickey shaped holes and it's rose gold sparkle.
I mean, I don't own a pair of Crocs right now, but I'm going to buy a pair.
So now there's a new expense coming to our future, which is Sam's new Croc obsession. Yes.
No, you know what?
One pair, it'll last you for a long, long time.
I think they really do last forever. They're actually practical, especially at Disney. They're comfortable for long days. You know, it doesn't matter if they get wet. Wear them to the pool. Wear them back to your room.
They're fun on the airplane.
Yeah, they're easy on the airplane. You kick them on, you kick them off. I know people like to make fun of Crocs, but whatever. They're have some whimsy in your life. Get a bright color. Get one of the cool pattern ones. They just came out
full of gibbets.
Yeah, they just came out with some awesome for Toy Story 5, they have a bunch of like great new Woody and Jesse and Buzz and
Buzz
like
Lightyear Crocs, yes, please.
I told Sam.
oh
I've
yes,
I
been.
and
mean,
I
someone
told.
in the comments is pointing out that there are now Croc Mickey ears,
And
and
Croc
they
beach bags that are like the bog beach bags.
but they have the holes so you can decorate with your gibbets.
Yeah. Brian, don't worry. I'm going to find all the different Crocs merch and send it to Sam so you can like get one big bill
It's
instead
a whole
of a lot
it's
of
a whole
bills.
ecosystem.
That sounds.
I love it.
I told
I'm so
Sam.
excited.
I told Sam as I was going through my closet, I was like, I feel like I've reached my understated Disney phase where I want it to be, nice, evoke Disney, but not be in your face. So like that was my justification. To be fair, she could buy 5 pairs of Crocs for what it cost me to buy my Gucci Donald Duck sneakers used on Mercari. So fair enough. Sam.
And as you can tell from my aesthetic, I am not the understated Disney fan. I'm full on. This is a Disney Cruise Line rainbow shirt, a Pride shirt, and then of course my Chip and Dale ears. Yeah.
You know what though? So Brian,
thank you.
I tend to go.
And Stephanie. I was gonna say Danny and Stephanie are like helping my cause here, so I really appreciate this, guys.
Sure. I'm always going to be a yes and kind of person, That's a great idea. You should get those Crocs and the matching earband. But Brian, I'm with you when it comes to understated, when it comes to simple.
Says the king of Hawaiian shirts.
No. But like that's like but first of all, they're not Hawaiian shirts. It's aloha wear.
Yes.
This is real. No. This is, and one time you'll have me on the podcast and I'll explain to you the cultural origins of aloha wear. But like, this is proper made in Hawaii, like nice quality, resort casual stuff. But here's the thing. There are so many people out there, and I have the utmost respect for the Disney bounders and the people who do Dapper Day. And there are people who come to the parks and they are serving looks, and they are going all out. 10 out of 10 outfits, 20 out of 10 outfits. I don't even want to try and compete in that realm. So I have my Disney fandom in my heart, and I'll have a themed t-shirt here. I got my Apple Watch is always on a Mickey watch face. I've got, a bag or whatever, but because there are people, that's their fandom, that's their persona. And I want them to enjoy that. And I think that's great, but it's not me.
We sat next to a lovely woman at DeVille's, and she was like decked out like Tinkerbell.
Oh yeah, she was full on.
Amazing, so gorgeous. I'm like, I'm gonna put on a Mickey t-shirt because I can't compete.
So Danny, my pro tip for you is if you haven't already, check out Kahala, which is one of the original. Yeah. We went there when we were in Oahu.
Yeah. My heart is with Rain Spooner shirts. According to the lore, they invented the Aloha shirt and the concept of casual Friday at work. I don't know, that claim is, how do you back that up? But according to them, they imported from Hawaii to Southern California the concept of casual Fridays and the Aloha shirt, and the rest is history.
Nice. Well, it's funny because as you say that, I'm thinking Kahala's website claims that they're the original manufacturer of the.
I'm sure it's like how everybody says they invented the Mai Tai, right?
It's like the cheeseburger in the U.S.
Which one's the Ray's Pizza? It's the one everyone knows. It's the one on 11th Avenue in New York, right? So anyway, we can talk about what's original for days, but let's talk about the Disney Destiny. Now, you guys sailed this time. Well, first I'm going to start with the background. I'll do the quick background. You guys Stephanie got to go to construction in Germany, where they build the ships, Meyerwerft. Danny got to go to Toronto, where they do all the rehearsal spaces for Disney Cruise Line, where they rehearse all of the shows for the ships and got a preview showcase of Hercules. You guys were invited to a media event that was in Orlando in October before the ship came out, that previewed some of the different character meet and play activities. Then you all got invited on the christening cruise, where we got to obviously meet in person for the first time as well. And so we got to sail together. So you have a ton of experience with the Disney Destiny, but you all sail adult only. And this sailing was with Stephanie, your brother, and his wife
So
and
it's a
child?
super modern family situation and perfect for Pride Month, actually. So
I
this was
love
our ninth Disney cruise. We've never been with a child at all, as we do not have a child easily accessible to us.
So we call Jacob our nephew because he calls us Uncle Danny and Aunt Steph.
In our hearts, he is our nephew.
Jacob's parents, Zach and Dan, are longtime friends of mine. Zach and I used to be camp counselors together. We've been friends for, I don't know, 20-something years, 30 years at this point.
I love that.
And so Zach's a school teacher, and he wasn't able to get the time off to come on this particular sailing.
Canada doesn't let out school till the end of the month.
So we went with Dan and Jacob, and then Dan invited his childhood friend, Kate, who was Jacob's surrogate. So we were this very cool, modern, blended family on the cruise ship.
And at the end of the sailing, Dan actually admitted to me that he was nervous that people were going to be like, what's the deal with all these adults who are not all together? And then they're with a child and what's going on? Nobody asked us a single question. I was like, it doesn't matter. You're on Disney Cruise Line. You just say I'm with my family.
Yeah.
And that's all they care about.
And that's all they care about. And this is the thing, I talk to my friends, who are parents and stuff. And I say, my nephew, but not really my nephew. And they go, no. He's your nephew,
When we got on the ship, though, instead of saying, like, it's the Shuster Shapiro, Michael Berg Paul family, we just called it the Jacobs family. Yes. And he thought that was just the bee's knees.
Yeah. So Jacob just turned 9. This cruise was in celebration of his 9th birthday. Mm-hmm. And we more or less let him run the show because, who doesn't want to be king for a day for your whole cruise?
Yeah.
He has a little bit of Disney experience. So Steph and I went with Jacob and his dad's to Disneyland one time a few years back when he was a bit younger. And then without us, but with my leadership,
super stellar planning and spreadsheets,
they went to Disneyland Paris with a very comprehensive guide that Steph put together
last summer.
And that's all the Disney experience they had.
Other than like watching every Disney movie, and he was Olaf in his school's production, like they love the Disney.
Yeah, it's a Disney family, but they haven't spent a lot of time in the parks and they've never been on a Disney cruise before.
Oh my goodness.
So now,
what made you guys choose to sail on the Destiny in particular with this group? Like, did it just fit in the schedule, or was there a particular reason why you wanted to sail on the Destiny specifically?
We had been talking for like a couple years with Zach and Dan about that we should all do a Disney cruise together when Jacob was the right age. And we were thinking about different itineraries and things like that, different ships. But when I got to Germany and I saw Spider-Man on the back, Jacob's a huge Spider-Man fan. He loves all the Marvel. But like seeing Spider-Man in person on the back of the ship, I like texted them from Germany saying like, it's the Destiny. That's when it is. That's where we're going. It's the only place to be. Yeah. So we went really for the Marvel of it all.
They were also very enchanted by the fact that we had this firsthand, peek at the ship. Like, not that we actually had anything to do with it, but the Destiny feels like our ship. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel more connected to this ship than any other ship in the fleet. And I think the family
had these connections at different stages of her construction and her launch, right? So it is different. And not to say that other ships haven't had like media previews, but this is the first time anyone was invited to go to the shipyard. This is the first time anyone was invited to Toronto for a sneak peek at the shows, right? So this ship has like, I feel like it makes sense. It has a greater connection personally, Dan, as you were saying. Yeah. Now, which itinerary did you guys choose for this?
We did the 5-night that was from, well, obviously they're all from Port Everglades, but it went to like a sea day, then Cozumel, then a sea day, then Castaway Cay. And it was the itinerary was really just based on when we could go. We could go that week. So it was either the 5-day or the 4-day that I think was right after it. And they were the same price. So why wouldn't we go? It's girl math, 1 free day.
I love that.
Cruise math.
I love that. Cruise math.
Now, for us, the destinations really weren't important. We knew we wanted to take them to Castaway.
I did want to make sure their first Disney cruise goes to Castaway, because I don't think you've Disney cruised until you've Castaway.
No, but we definitely we pick these dates based on people's availabilities, based on the price of the cruise fare, and just what fit into our schedule.
Absolutely. Now, when did you guys are up in Canada on the east coast? When did you guys go down to Florida? And where did you all stay? Like, you're going out of Fort Lauderdale, not out of Port Canaveral. So did you pair it with the
Yeah.
Disney World trip or not?
We all just No, we didn't pair it. We just all flew down. We got on the ship on Saturday. We all flew down on Friday, and we stayed at the Hilton Fort Lauderdale Marina, which I hadn't stayed at before, but I know it's really popular with families, so I wanted to check it out for our blogs. And it was a great experience. And what I really liked was that they offered the Disney transportation. I think there's only 2 or maybe 3 hotels in Fort Lauderdale that you can pay for the Disney transportation. We could have easily Ubered. We could have cheaper Ubered, but that Disney transportation got us on the ship before everybody else. We were boarding group 4. So
yeah, so they call
well worth it.
If you take the Disney transportation at your hotel, they give you, your Cinderella bus or your Chippendale bus or whatever. And then when you're at Port Everglades, there's the family of the day, then there's concierge guests and stuff, and then they bring on the Disney transportation people. So we weren't the first groups on, but we were among the first groups on, and that was really important.
Yeah, we heard from our friends who boarded today that they're calling the Disney buses after Group 2 because so Group 2 is typically the Pearl Cruiser group, so that's why Concierge and Pearl, and then they're calling, as you mentioned, like Cinderella, Sebastian, whatever, right? Like whatever your bus group is before even Group 3. So you're getting on the ship as one of the first cruisers on, which is really nice because if you're not a Pearl Cruiser or you're not sailing Concierge, you're not getting on earlier than that unless you're back to back or happen to be chosen family.
Steph was a trooper and stayed up till midnight on our check-in day and did manage to get us group 4, which is a very respectable early boarding group. But then we were even earlier than that thanks to this Disney transfer.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. All right. Well, what kind of staterooms did you guys book? And then we'll talk about embarking onto the ship.
So we have only ever stayed actually in veranda cabins, and either because we've been hosted and that's what we've been given, or that's what we've selected for ourselves. But this time, after seeing all the different cabins on the Destiny during the media sailing, we were like, maybe we should try one of the other kinds so that we can have more firsthand experience to talk about it. So we actually sailed in an inside cabin for the first time ever. They picked an ocean view cabin, and Jacob was obsessed with the porthole.
Yeah.
He was like, he called it his room. He was just like, I'm going to live in here forever. So that was very cute. We have great pictures of it. But we got a really weird insight. I kept Tetrising our room around as people dropped off close to the paid in full day. But we got cabin 8583, which is on all of the Wish class ships. But it's in a weird place where the hallway bends. And we actually had like a tiny hallway vestibule area before, like you open the door into like a tiny area that we used for storage, and then another doorway into our room.
It was like a little entry hall. It has a table for we put stuff, we left our shoes there, we put our luggage there,
water bottles,
our hats. We had a little entryway. It was lovely.
So a little extra foyer, as they call it.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
It does not have the split bathroom. And that was okay.
For 2 of us.
For 2 people, it was totally manageable. It was a significant savings over a cabin with a split bathroom. And I do think it was worth the savings.
Yeah, that makes sense. I will say, as a family of 3, the split bath is kind of it's become a must for us. And so it's a must do for us now. But I understand that it's not a must for everyone, and that cost savings is huge that's why we do the ocean view typically. We often don't, when we're booking for ourselves, unless we, of course, when we sail concierge, you get a veranda with very few exceptions. But when we sail regular, which is more often than sailing concierge, we tend to book the ocean view because we really like the big porthole window but we don't find that we use the veranda that much. And there is a savings between those two categories typically.
When it's really hot outside in the summer, I find I don't use the veranda at all because it's just too hot to be out there. And in this case, we were like, we're never going to be in the room. We're entertaining 3 other people the entire time. We're not on our own schedule. So we thought it was a great time to test out a different kind of cabin.
Totally.
How did the lead up to the cruise go, both from the standpoint of when did your nephew learn that he was going to be joining you on the Destiny? Was that a surprise? But also then, just kind of the routine check-in stuff, IT, blunders that can happen in those moments. Like, how was it getting up to the point of the cruise?
So like I said, for about 2 years, we've been playing around with this idea with Zach and Dan, right? And then back in February, we said, okay, let's just do it. Let's do it. Let's do it in June. And so we booked it, and they said, we're not going to tell Jacob until much closer to, they weren't going to wait till the night before, but they were like a week, maybe 2 weeks before we'll tell him, because he has so many other things with school and whatever. We don't want him like fixating on that. We have other trips that are coming up in the meantime, etc. But they
didn't last.
They couldn't hold on. About 5, maybe 6 weeks before, I get a text, and it's like, do you want to tell Jacob with us? And I was like, yeah, but not until I want to be a part of that, but not until you're ready. And he's like, we're going to be ready in 20 minutes. We'll call you then. So
now they
Danny
live
and I
near,
got our Zoom call all set up, and
Do they live near you guys, or
no, they actually live in Ottawa, so that's about a 6-hour drive away. So we don't get to see them. They used to live in Toronto, about an hour away, and then they moved a few years ago. So we get together with them several times a year, and we have a couple other couples that we're close with, and we do a lot of traveling as a group as well.
We're all camp friends. We all used to go to summer camp. No, but like it's all of those of us who were camp friends,
and now all your spouses,
and now all the spouses.
I love that. Listen, I grew up with camp culture also, Danny, so I totally understand. Growing up in the Northeast, like that's a thing. Like camp is a thing. It's not so much a thing here in the Northwest, although we're trying to instill it in Nathan because he does go to a Jewish sleepaway camp.
It is not a thing in the bluegrass state where I was born. So yeah.
All right. So how would the reveal go?
The reveal was great.
He was so excited.
We were all on Zoom. He didn't believe us at first. He was like, he thought we were joking, or he didn't realize how soon it would be.
And then he was very excited. And then he was really worried that he would miss his birthday and not be with both his dads on his birthday. And we're like, no, it's 2 days after.
2 days after your birthday.
So it was really, really sweet. But when we went to Disneyland and when they went to Disney Paris, I prepared like a YouTube playlist so that they could watch the things that they might want to do. So he could be a part of that active decision making, because that's the kind of kid he is. And so I had already done that with like 50 videos. And so I sent that. So they watched every single video. So he knew exactly what he wanted to do, what he didn't want to do. And honestly, I shared all the deck tours that we put up on our YouTube channel. He navigated his way around the ship.
He had that ship memorized. We got on the boat on the first day and we were saying like, oh, we're going to go check in at this thing and go to this. And he goes, that's on deck 4. That's on deck 11.
Now, as far as technical blunders, there were none because I just took everybody's credit cards and passports and did it all myself.
And honestly, if you're organizing a group trip, if you're going to be staying in separate state route, like just have a point person. And Steph is obviously an expert when it comes to these planning matters. And, everyone was informed and we told them what was happening.
Yeah.
But then it was like, give me all your details. Give me, your travel info. Give me your credit card info.
I did our full check-in at midnight in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It would have taken them an hour.
She's been through it before. She knows how it works. We know how to, link up the 2 different staterooms. Just have a travel expert, whether it's somebody.
If you have a travel expert.
In
your group.
Right. Or if you have a travel advisor that is being paid to do it, they can do it for you as well.
Exactly.
What about
like us? We do it ourselves.
What about? I want to skip ahead now to the port experience for just a second, because we've heard lots of feedback from different places about the new system that Disney changed over to on the back end, and it's been causing delays. Did that smooth out for you? Was it a quick and easy port experience?
I don't even know what you're talking about because it was so normal. What happened?
Oh, Disney changed its back end system.
Yeah.
probably about a month or maybe 2 months ago
For, like,
now
the check-in system,
for the check-in
basically.
system at the port. And so, like, we had
Everything was exactly like it's always
Yeah.
been for
yeah,
us.
we had to lose our documentation twice and, like, all of this
Um,
stuff,
Oh,
and we had
no,
to
we were
yeah.
no.
issue free. No, nothing to report.
Good. Good. I'm glad
Good.
So
they've
I hope
ironed
that's
that out.
true for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the issues have been intermittent, so it seems like it's not a problem every sailing, but we've heard from sort of inconsistent reports, and so that's why
Sure.
we try and check in. All right, well, tell us about boarding. I want to know what Jacob's, he saw the videos, but like
Yeah.
seeing it in person and having the Jacob family welcomed on board is an experience.
He was very excited. When you come in and they're announcing the family names and people are clapping and cheering, right away up at the top of the Grand Hall, Black Panther was out when we were there. That's a character that he knows and likes. So that was a thrill. He was a little like, we had to like kind of get him by the shoulders and turn him and be like, look, he's there. Because he's taking it all in.
There's
And
so much stuff, right? He's little.
He's little. Yeah. I mean, he's tall for a 9-year-old, but he's little still. Like, so I would say it was a mix of overwhelmed and excited.
Yeah. And
I
then
love
because there were so few people on board, we just went straight up to the buffet and had some lunch. And then after that, we got him all like checked in for the kids club and did the family open house, because we didn't know if he was going to want to go to the kids club or not, but we figured he might want to, but not unless we had all kind of experienced it together. And we explained like, you have to go on your own from now on
Yeah.
if you want to go. So we did that, and that was really
I'd
fun.
go to the kids club if they would let me, but
I know, but they won't let. But they won't let you.
They
the
won't let you
beard gives it away. They
Preach.
don't.
I know.
Preach.
I know. When they're insecure. So for those listening or watching who haven't been on a cruise before, or you don't have kids, they have what's called open houses. And so most of the first day on board, up until like 5 or 5:30, they have open houses happening where anyone can go into the kids club and kind of tour it and play with the things that are inside it. Now they'll have occasional times during the cruise that we'll have, an hour of open house time, but the rest of the time, the kids club is in what's called secure programming mode. That means kids and counselors only. It's kind of a lockdown system. You have to have a magic band to enter. You have to be registered, right? And the kids' ages are strict as far as if you're older than whatever the age group is, you cannot go. It does not matter if you have a disability. It does not matter if you, so there's no budging if you're older than the age. You can sort of age up with some limitations, but you can't age down. So 0 to 3 is nursery. 3 to 10, both of those are inclusive for 3-year-olds. 3 to 10 is the kids club, and then the tween club, which is called Edge, is 11 to 14, and then the teen club is 14 through 17. So under 18 is essentially what that means. And then there's an 1820 society that doesn't have its own club, but it does meetups on board. So for those, Tracy's saying in the chat, our kids clubs are the bar spaces on board, and that's
I would
true.
pay a lot of money to have one of those sublight lounge cocktails from Star Cruiser in the cargo bay though at like 1 a.m. when the kids are in bed.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be such a fun,
right? Like an adult takeover.
Late night adults takeover Oceaneer. That would be amazing.
That would be
Disney,
amazing.
if
They do let the tweens and the teens take it over on particular nights, usually around 11 p.m. or midnight, something like that, because Nathan's done that as a part of the Edge activities. Well, let's dive in and talk about some of these activities. I'm curious as to whether Jacob liked the kids club, and then I'm curious as to what activities you all got up to as a family, as a group. Like, what were the activities that you all enjoyed?
So when we dropped him off at the kids club, his dad said, I give this, he said, I give this a 10% chance that we don't have to come back immediately and pick him up. And he lasted about an hour.
He went 3 times for about an hour.
And he had a good time every time. And for this family, that was a huge win, you know? They were like, I was 90% sure he wasn't going to last 5 minutes. So an hour is great.
He rated it 20 out of 10. So that's awesome. we dropped him and we were like, if it's 20 out of 10, do you want to go back? He's like, oh no, I'm done my time for today. We'll see tomorrow.
I
Come on,
don't,
Pearl.
I don't think that's because he wasn't having fun. I think he was concerned that the grown-ups were having fun without him, and
it's
he
like,
wanted
we're
to be
reading our books.
Yeah.
He
Well,
was having FOMO.
we went to Quiet Cove one time. Like, we dropped him off at the kids club, and then we went to Quiet Cove, and he was very, distraught that he wasn't even allowed. And he made us promise that we weren't going to go to Quiet Cove again because there was no way he could join us.
You were not going to like Quiet Cove.
What was his? So after you get through the boarding, you get onto the Grand Atrium. I just need to know, like, through his eyes, what was that like? That boarding experience like?
I think because he had watched the videos, like he knew exactly what to expect, but that, he's overwhelmed by everything, but he just started pointing out stuff immediately. He's like, oh, down that hallway is Haunted Mansion Parlor. And if you go off to here, that's where you're going to find Saga. And I was like, okay, little
tour guide,
little photographic memory.
He was and this is something, so we've known Jacob his whole life, and he's always been fascinated by elevators. And anytime you go to a resort or a hotel, he always wants to know, is there a rooftop access, and can we take the elevator, and how many floors up to the top? So as much as he was enchanted by all the spectacle in the Grand Hall, and as much as we were like, we're going to get you registered for the kids club, and we're going to, take care of some things.
He was very concerned with getting to the villain's elevator.
Well,
yes.
So this is what I want to ask about is, so did he have much understanding of, I mean, you sent him the video, so he must have understood villains and heroes was kind of a theme of the ship. But was he like into Marvel? Did he have a favorite superhero? Like, was he
Spider-Man's his guy?
Spider-Man's his guy, and that's why we picked the Destiny. He does very much enjoy the villains. He thinks it's funny, the mischief and the, being bad, and, not in like in a malicious way, in a funny, He
loved the show on the last day, Celebration of a King, when Black Panther and Loki are there kind of fighting over who's the rightful king of the ship, all of that.
Or we did the Sleeping Beauty, the like mostly true retelling, I think they call it.
Yeah, a mostly accurate
tale. Like all that stuff. He really enjoyed that.
Yeah. He loved Pirate Night, and like, even though like he didn't actually, his bedtime is like 8:30 usually, and so he did not make it up for all the nighttime stuff. Like, he stayed up through shows and dinner, and then he was out.
He was talking a big game.
So he didn't actually make it to like the fireworks, but the like getting dressed up as pirates. We did A Pirate's Life for Me and Saga.
He had so we had a dilemma. He had a lot of costumes on this sailing, and Pirate Night on our sailing was also our Worlds of Marvel night. And he was it was a dilemma because he had a Spider-Man costume and he also had a pirate costume, and he didn't know. I think we did half and half. I think he did dinner in the Spider-Man costume and then did a change for the deck party.
That's what you have to do. You have to do. So you had early dinner, I take it. Then.
No, we actually So
I got it backwards.
And that was actually like a bit of a sticking point. Because we reserved so late. We got late dining. I mean, I prefer late dining when it's me and Danny, but I don't care when we go with other people. But it was a concern for the family, being like, well, he's usually in bed by the time dinner starts. So we tried really hard to like get him to, he wouldn't take a nap, but we tried to get him to have like a rest time in the afternoon. And then we gave him like a slice of pizza or a taco on the pool deck, like 5 p.m. to kind of tide him over.
He did become very enamored with the concept of first dinner. And then like,
so we had first now. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Hobbit eating. So we'd have like first dinner, a slice of pizza or a taco or something at like 5 o'clock, go see the show, go do a deck party, whatever, and then sit down to dinner at 8:15.
Yeah. He does really like the classic characters though. So like he was so excited to see Goofy and Donald and Chip and Dale also. And so he actually really loved the Color Spin dance party, Mickey's Color Spin dance party, which we hadn't seen before because it's only on some sailings.
Yeah, I liked it too.
He loved that one. He also liked Mickey and Minnie's Pirates in the Caribbean, but he much preferred the Color
Spin above.
Wow. Wow. I
what
mean,
did
Color
he
Spin is fun because it's like 90s music and then each character has their own color and their own like song to dance to.
Yeah.
what did he think about the Worlds of Marvel dinner specifically? We got this question in the chat. So what do you think about
Yeah.
and Sam, correct me, or Danny, like you don't get the night 1 Marvel on the Destiny, you get night
You get the
2.
night 1 menu, but you get the night 2 show.
So
So
no
it was the Groot trivia.
So no
Right.
Spider-Man at the end.
No
No
Spider-Man at the
No,
end.
no,
Man, that would have been killer for him.
it would have.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't know that he was missing out on Spider-Man at the end.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he loved that restaurant. He dressed up in his costume.
He loved pushing the buttons.
He was very engaged with the screens and the trivia. Some of the trivia, like, he hasn't seen the whole MCU. He's only 9. So, like, you know, some of the, he didn't recognize all the characters when they do those, like, pixelated guess who the character is.
But he had a ringer with Danny.
That's true. I happen
Some
to
of
be
those
something.
are hard. Some of those are hard.
Some of those are
They
hard.
comic
are
book.
really
Yeah.
hard. And some of them are obscure characters. I'm curious, speaking of Spider-Man does a really fun, we'll call it like hero
moves with
posing
Spider-Man.
Yeah, and then there ends up in like a dance party, and this happens in the Grand Hall, and it's only on the Disney Destiny, and I think it's a really cool event. Did you get to go?
So they only do it one time, and we couldn't get him out of the pool, but he did it another time in the Oceaneer Club. So we sent him to the Oceaneer Club, and then we said, how was it? He said, oh, there was too many kids. I built a roller coaster instead, 20 out of 10. So we went on the ship for all these Marvel characters, and honestly, he met more princesses and like Goofy and Mickey and stuff. And he didn't really, we stood in line for Goofy, but he didn't want to stand in line for any of the other characters, which is fine. But we were lucky to kind of bump into a few walking around, had a nice chat with Belle.
Yeah, we had a great interaction with Belle. So he didn't want to take naps in the afternoon, but we convinced him, you know, it's hot. It's, you know, you got to come inside. You got to get some air conditioning and chill out a bit. And we were playing, there's a card game called Exploding Kittens.
We know the game.
Sure. So we were on deck 5 on the couches in the Grand Hall playing Exploding Kittens. And Belle came around. Oh, hello, your family. What are you guys up to? And I was like, oh, this is not appropriate for a princess. I don't think I could say it.
I love it. I love it. We got a question in the chat I want to answer. Ed is asking about Spider-Man. Spider-Man is on the Destiny. He does meet and greets with pictures around the atrium at different points in time during the cruise. And then he does the hero poses or what is it called? Hero
moves
with Spider-Man. So he does that also in the Grand Hall. And then, but he does not appear at dinner in Worlds of Marvel. That's what we were saying, because
unless you're on a 6 or 7 night sailing and you get both of the Marvel shows.
Right. But you would typically have that on the Treasure or on the Wish. If you want the night 1 show for Marvel, you need to be on the Wish or the Treasure. Or as Stephanie and Danny pointed out, there are going to be 2 sailings, I believe, on the Destiny in July that are both going to be 7-night sailings. And those we expect to hear that they will have both shows. And so you should have Spider-Man at dinner if you're there for that night. So, so he's there. He's just not at dinner in World War.
I'm surprised how little Spider-Man appearances there are on the Destiny, given that he's the Stern character.
Yeah.
So
but they have a lot of T'Challa, Black Panther, and Loki and stuff. So yeah,
we saw Black Panther and Loki constantly. And I don't know if this was just something special when we were there on the maiden voyage, but I ran into Spider-Man one time just like chilling in the hallway. And I had a whole wonderful, moment. We talked about the spider bots, and
I feel like that we had those moments with some of the princesses, or we ran into Minnie Mouse and that kind of thing. So I think you just
he's around on the ship. So here's the thing, right? So we know that sometimes the Spider-Man appearances are limited. And so we'd be like, okay, we're going to make sure we drop you off at the kids club because Spider-Man's going to be here and we know you're excited to meet him. And then when he was in the kids club, it was too crowded. There were too many people, but the roller coaster simulator ride was totally open. So that's what he did instead. And the point is that he wasn't sad. Like the next day or later that night, he wasn't like, oh man, I didn't get my chance with Spider-Man. He was like, it's so awesome. I built 10 roller coasters.
Yeah.
So we had fun.
But
So
I
great.
feel like I've had the true parenting experience because everything I prepared for, like knowing everything about the kids club offerings, talking to all my friends with kids, being like, okay, well, what do all these things mean? Which are the ones where the characters are going to be there rather than being led by the entertainment team, etc. Right? At figuring out there's 4 adults, we could each stand in different lines for characters and he could just bounce between them and get the most, whatever. Did all this stuff. Kid just wanted to be in the pool.
Yes.
It's fine.
So that is like parenting 101, Stephanie. And
Yeah, they just want to be in the pool.
Yeah, they either just want to be in the pool or they just want to do something else that you didn't plan, right? So like,
yeah,
you can come up with like, best laid plans, but it doesn't matter. Whatever the kid wants to do in the moment is what's going to happen.
Truly, all I cared about was that he had a good time, and he did. So,
and
I win.
Exactly. Like, the number of times when we asked him, what did you do? Did you have fun? And he would give us ratings. That was 20 out of 10. That was 100 out of 10. I only want to do this all day long. Great. Like, that made my heart grow 3 sizes, you know? It doesn't matter that we thought the thing he was going to want to do most was Spider-Man hero moves. The point is that he told me about the roller coaster he built for 10 minutes and that it was the greatest game he ever played. Like, that's,
How did he do with the villains? We talked
He
about
loved
the
them.
heroes.
He won villains game night.
Yeah, he wanted...
He like bolted to the stage, made best friends with, shout out to Oliver in the entertainment cast.
Yeah.
Made best friends with Oliver, and then sat up there first night, won villains game night, and won
very
every day. Very upset that it wasn't on every day, but we were like, we can go to other things. We'll go to Encanto. We'll go to Pirates Life for Me.
That's like a Hollywood Squares. For those who remember the old show, Hollywood Squares, it's using screens, so the characters aren't there in person, but it's different villains, and it's a tic-tac-toe game. It's really fun.
Did you do any of the meet and play? Well, I guess the only one you could really do is Dr. Facilier, and then some of the stuff in the atrium.
And Maleficent.
But I'm curious. I'm curious if you did any of those and how he liked them, and also how are the lines? Because the lines were
so. We didn't do Facilier because the lines were outrageous. And honestly, like, so I've done that Facilier experience, and I think it is phenomenal. I think it's one of the best things Disney has done. I think the setting, the atmosphere, the whole thing, I think it's incredible. But the logistics of it's like 6 people at a time in this tiny, like, and the people line, it's only on the navigator a few times a sailing. The line must have been, so they do it at sort of near Saga. I think they call it the Disney Studio. On our ship. The line went down the hall, around Saga.
All day, every day.
Like, and so he just is his patience for that, because it's not like that movie is his number 1 favorite movie.
I think technically the Encanto experience and the Encanto Celebration and Sleeping Beauty, A Mostly Accurate Tale are also, and Celebration of a King, I think those are considered play and greets, even though there's not a lot of, Encanto has a lot of play, but the other ones kind of just have a little bit of audience participation, right? So he did like those. He just wanted to be in the pool.
He wanted to be in the pool.
That's really boring for a show, but that's what he wanted to do. But I see Tracy's asking if we had different views and emotions.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask this question. Yeah. So just for everyone out there, the question from Tracy is sort of, did it change your perception of the Destiny, seeing it now through your nephew's eyes and his feedback?
It absolutely did, because there were, like, at dinner one night, he was like, "You guys, I just have the perfect life," and we were all like.
That it really, yes, unprompted. He just dropped that out of nowhere, and we
And we played. I don't know if you know the game Roses, Rosebud and Thorn, and so we did that every night at the dinner table, so that you share a rose, the best thing of your day. You share a thorn if you even have one, and you share a bud, something you're excited for the next day. And so that was a really nice time to kind of all group together, and it was just surprising things that he would say every single night. He's super musical theater kid, so he loved all the shows so much. And like, we love shows. We're theater people, right? But so the Broadway Stars series was on, and Susan Egan and James Monroe Iglehart were both there. I couldn't believe it. But we didn't even think he'd want to go. And so we kind of told him the night before, like, this is what's going to happen. It's not a full, like, there's not characters. It's not a full, like, I guess it is kind of a song and dance, but it's not like, it's not Hercules, it's not Seize the Adventure. Do you still want to go? And he said, oh yeah. And then he ranked it number 2 of his experiences with the shows on board. He loved it so much.
Is Belle and the Genie, or Megara and the Genie, however you want to look at Susan, right? Like, yeah, you had the 2 biggest stars of the Broadway Stars series on board. You were on the
I just thought, without Lumiere dancing around in the background, why would he care? But he cared very much.
Yeah. I gotta just like stop here for 1 second, because I am so mad that I did not go on this cruise with you, because I would have been in line for the theater like 2 or 3 hours before, if they'd let me, to go back to see James and Susan perform on the Walt Disney Theater stage. And then you also got to see them in Saga, by the way, for the adult only show.
Sam, do you know what was crazy to me? And I was too nervous to actually go up and talk to them and ask for a photo. But after the show, Susan and James, after the Saga cabaret, they were just hanging out in the hallway,
chatting with people,
just like taking selfies with people, talking. Like,
when we got off the ship in Cozumel, James and his mom walked past us and they were taking a selfie, and I was like, go take their photo. And he was like, no, I can't. I was like, I can't either.
Guys, next time ask for the photo. I did get a couple of selfies with Susan Egan in the bar, even though we had also gotten pictures with her when I got to interview her at the christening. So
you had an in, Sam. She already knew you. We're just random strangers walking up.
They don't know. They don't know who we are.
She didn't remember me. This was like a week later, so she didn't remember me.
So anyway, we've been talking a lot about your nephew. I'm going to step back and take this from a different perspective for a second, because we've also talked about how it changed you. His parents that were on with you.
Or his dad. It was his dad and his and friend.
Sure.
His Auntie Kate.
Yeah,
sure.
Auntie Kate.
His immediate sailing party.
Not a Disney person, but I think she might be now.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was their feedback about the cruise? I mean, because a lot of times you hear like, well, they bring the kids on and then they hook the parents because the kids are, off.
They were
food
impressed.
Was phenomenal, and they were like, we can't believe how good all the food is, and consistently at every single thing. Castaway, they were both like, we have never seen a beach like this. Kate lived in Hawaii for years. She was like, I've never seen anything like this.
They were very impressed with the service team. They thought everyone was very personable and very charming. They thought the ship was beautiful. They kept remarking about the caliber of the food.
They couldn't believe the quality of the Broadway shows. They've both done cruises before, not with Disney, so they kind of know the cruising format, right? But then they're comparing it to, I know Kate has cruised with NCL. I don't know who Dan had cruised with.
One thing that they remarked to me as outsiders, if you will, is, they were amazed at the efficiency of things like debarkation or embarkation, or, how the schedule is set up with the alternating early and late dinners and early and late shows. Like, they were constantly being like, oh yeah, Disney's clearly done this. And as soon as they thought of, how is this going to work, or where do we, and then all of a sudden the answer was there because Disney's thought through all of these steps, they were like, wow, this is really like a finely tuned machine.
So the real question is, did they leave the ship with a placeholder? Because that's the biggest vote of confidence that Disney can offer.
I left the ship with a placeholder, as always. I don't know. We didn't talk about... Well, I know that they didn't, because they didn't bring it up with me. I don't think they found it in the app. But, I think that they are both very... Kate was talking about possibly taking... She has 3 other kids who are older than Jacob. But she was like, maybe my youngest would really like to come do this, which surprised me because, again, not Disney people, right? And then I think that Dan will now be trying to convince Zach that we should, and I'll help.
I mean,
convince.
Jacob is 100% on board. He was asking us lots of questions which ship is your ship, and is this space the same on the other one? And we somehow landed on the fantasy. He really would like to go on the fantasy.
It's because he wants to go on the aqueduct because he doesn't
Mm.
think Aquamouse is a long enough slide, which he's not wrong about, because most of the slide is just the slow ascent through the cartoons, right?
The Aquamouse was a big hit. So, like, for example, on Cozumel Day, we didn't do any excursions, but so many of the people on the boat get off to either do excursions or go shopping or do whatever. I think he wrote Aquamouse like 6 times in a row that day. Like, just,
Yeah.
And he was super happy. He loved those pools so much.
Yeah, it's always funny how the things that you don't necessarily expect to be a hit are the biggest hits, right? Like you mentioned, Danny, in the kids club, between the Spider-Man versus the roller coaster creation, right? And then with the pool deck, like, you don't know if like they're gonna love the pool, or if they're gonna be wanting to do character things, or if they're gonna love the water slide, right? And then, so some things that you don't necessarily expect. And so that's why I always try to tell people, like, yeah, you can have some priorities as to what you want to do, but your kid is going to take you off track of those priorities if they decide they want to
And
do.
we did so many things that we wouldn't usually do. Like, we rarely go to the game show format style things. We're more like crafting trivia people.
We spent
quiet activity
so
people.
much time in Saga, like more time in Saga than I've spent on any other,
like
sailing.
Probably on every other sailing combined in whatever the multi-purpose venue is.
Because anytime there was a game show, like on Pirates Night, there was they called it Pirate's Life for Me.
It was like, kind of like Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, the Villains, Hollywood Squares, like any game show, he wanted to go, and he would try really hard to be picked as the participant.
Yeah.
So there's a question in the chat that I want to put. It is so fun when we have like Disney people on who are deep into these topics, and you two are experts across a lot of the Disney stuff that we don't even begin to try and cover here. But there was a question in the chat with all the lines on the Destiny. Do you foresee a world where Disney Cruise Line starts to, I mean, they have the model for it with the Adventure, where they start to do some sort of paid for lightning lane kind of opportunity? You want to do Facilier's Parlor, you just sign up and pay for a time and come back.
I could see that, but I would say a precursor to that, I think that they would try it out for free. Like something like the ship tours that you have to sign up in the app, but they're free. You can't sign up for them until you're on board. And then it's confusing because they're not in the like area with all the crafts and everything. They're in the area with the paid bourbon tastings and stuff like that. They're already doing. We already have Royal Gathering with all the princesses. I don't know why we don't have the same thing with all the Marvel characters, with the Fab Five, etc. That would take so much stress off of parents and kids showing up at a designated time, knock out 4 or 5 characters all at once. And then you could be like, well, I got into Royal Gathering and Marvel Gathering, but now I really need to stake out Chip and Dale because I didn't get to meet them, right? I think like I have no idea why it's only princesses. Yeah. I'm grateful because I'm a princess girly, but like I need it for the other characters too.
Yeah.
And they only do that on like Pixar Day at Sea and Marvel Day at Sea cruises. They do some of those reservation only ones. Yeah. And they used to do it on Star Wars Day at Sea cruises back in the day when they had those, but they don't do them. I agree with you. It's interesting. We've seen that on the Adventure, but they're now like, well, character meet and greets mostly on the Adventure are now reservation only. They have dropped the reservation system for the rides, but I do think we might see that. I agree with you, Stephanie. I'm not sure they'll do a pay to play system for like character meet and greets, but I think depending upon how things go over the next several years, depending on demand, they might start implementing more reservation only.
And eventually I could see them charging, but I don't think they'll go straight to a charged model.
Yeah. Yeah. I do wonder if it actually reduces the pressure or if it just front loads the pressure, because like staying up to book those Royal Gatherings and stuff, they're limited space. Not everyone knows about them, especially first timers. Like it's
sure. Also, is this going to be a situation where Pearl and concierge guests get to book all the reservations up before everyone else?
Like, no shade to Pearl and concierge guests. Like, you paid your dues. That's fine. But it was really frustrating for us. We were like almost the first people, like the first 30 people in line for the theater every single night. And we couldn't get under the balcony. So Jacob could never get the bubbles or the confetti falling right under him. Like all the seats were just already taken, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. And that might not be true on every sailing. If people are like, oh, I'm on the Fantasy, I've seen these shows 26 times, right?
Right. I think the newer shows are kind of hard. And right now, the only people who get priority for the shows are concierge and people who need disability accommodation. So typically wheelchair users. So right now, but that still could be a larger group, especially for popular shows. And people are lining up early. Royal Gathering, concierge does get priority in booking because you can send a request with your concierge emails, but everybody else is on the same playing field for Royal Gathering at that 30-day mark, which I think if they're going to implement any kind of character reservation system, they'll probably do it like that too.
And let's say for each ship, what if they had 3 groups? Like on Destiny, it makes sense to have a Marvel group, but it might not make sense on some of the other ships, right? Like on Adventure, they could have an Adventure Friends group with like Aladdin and Jasmine and Mirabelle and Bruno, right? But if they did that on each ship, maybe you could only pick one of the 3. Maybe maybe then there's a cooling period and then you see if there's any more availability. But I do think that obviously princesses need their beauty sleep. They can't just be in the atrium for nonstop Royal Gathering all day, every day to meet 4,000 guests, right? So I understand the logistics of that, but I don't think that there are enough spaces for the amount of demand, which is why opening it up with some other characters would be great.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to jump back to one question about the Destiny because we didn't talk about Lion King, Pride Lands, Feast of the Lion King. I mean, in my opinion, the best new restaurant to come to Disney Cruise Line, to rotational dining. I'm curious what Jacob thought of it. You said he's a musical theater kid. He likes it. It is quite loud in there. The drumming's quite loud. But
he loved the drumming.
Yeah,
he loved the show, but you know what? He loved the food, and you would expect like kids Lion King to maybe be their least favorite food. Well, he was ordering off the adult menu everywhere. He's a little foodie. His dad, Zach, is an amazing cook. And so he's been eating, like, we would go over and he's like a year old and he's eating paneer, right? So he knows his way around stuff. So he actually complained that some of the other food was a little bit too bland or boring, other than in 1923 when he ordered lobster and venison for the first time, and he did not like that. Then he got risotto and pasta, and
but he was
fine.
being adventurous, and that's.
But he loved like the shrimp curry and everything like that at the Lion King, and we had the Lion King Night 2 menu, which is also amazing, just stellar, so good,
so
probably better
we're
than.
So jealous. We're jealous. That's the one we haven't had, but everybody keeps saying how awesome it is.
So
it's
good.
Oh man, I had this like short rib that was incredible, and the dessert is a banana trifle pudding that is like
outrageous.
It's out of this world. But so like night 1 with the show, it was a hit for our table. We were a little bit farther back. Like
that actually might have helped.
That might have
helped. So loud.
But like as you come down that ramp, and then like so we were like one of the first tables right when you get to the bottom of that ramp. We could still see what was happening, but we were a little bit farther removed. Our server was amazing.
He's such a good dancer, Josu.
Josu from Brazil. He was doing his own, like he would deliver our plates, and then they were doing their dance number, and he goes, no. Josu will show you the dance number. And he was dancing at the back of the restaurant, and like he was giving 110%. He was amazing.
I love that. I want to answer another question in the chat because there's, I think, 2 different people have asked us about Mr. Smee and whether he's on the Destiny. He, I believe, is on the Destiny during only Pirate Night.
And I saw him during Pirate Night.
But he only appears with Captain Hook from my memory. I don't think I've ever seen him appear separately.
No, that is correct. But they did have a meet and greet for them.
Yes.
Yeah, we saw him during the stage show, the Rockin' Pirate Parlay. Is that what it's called?
Pirates Rockin' Parlay Party.
There you go. Thank you.
There you go. Good job, Stephanie. TM, by the way.
Yeah.
We saw him on stage during that, and then we saw him with Hook for like photos in the atrium.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Awesome. All right. So we're hitting time here, Sam. So unless there's anything else you think we have to cover, I have one last question for Stephanie and Danny. We're good? All right. what's next? What is next for this dynamic duo of Disney folks here? Where are you going next? And more specifically, like when are you going to get back on the cruise line? Where do you see?
Well, we booked a placeholder, and we've actually been, we kind of have, I don't know if it will end up being one of these four, but we haven't been on the Wonder and we haven't been on the Treasure. So we're really looking towards maybe a treasure sailing, Western Caribbean, because we've done the Eastern Caribbean on the Fantasy, maybe an Alaska sailing on the Wonder, maybe a San Diego sailing, because Danny really wants to go to Catalina. We've never been to Catalina, or possibly even a repositioning cruise between Vancouver and San Diego. My parents are in Vancouver, so it's like a kill two birds with one stone kind of thing.
I'm gonna say that I was gonna say you two are gonna like you. I feel like the Treasure has to be the ship for you because like
I know.
My problem with the Treasure, and I mean I love a 7-night cruise. Who doesn't want to be on vacation for that long? But we're very busy and we have a lot of things going on, and I do want to experience that boat. I wish I had the option for maybe a 4-night sailing. Also that particular itinerary, we've already done the Eastern Caribbean sailing.
And I got so sick,
Steph
guys.
got very motion sick on that one.
No.
And I know it's always, you can never tell what the ocean's
like
gonna...
a lot of consistent sea days, I'm trying to stay away from. But the Western Caribbean, you stop a lot more.
Yeah. But, with so many spaces doubling up on the Treasure and the Destiny, do I need 7 nights to get the full experience?
Yes, always 4 days.
No.
Here's the real question. Do you like I'm trying to remember the With Great Power Marvel show, and are you a fan of Indiana Jones? Because when those two things marry up, hilarity ensues. So
Absolutely.
I love that show so much.
I love Indiana Jones.
I might have been like the 3rd or 4th person in line at Saga to get my seat for the Marvel With Great Power comedy show. Yeah. Well, so anyways, we have a placeholder. We would like to, complete. It doesn't feel right that we have not yet been on all of the ships. Catalina, I'm very interested in going. I know someone who just did Catalina and did a really cool bison, like a wildlife excursion that looks really fascinating to me.
I didn't know that's why we were going to Catalina.
Well, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to do a wildlife.
It's only a partial day, Stephanie. Don't worry. The bison excursion is only partial day. It's basically on a natural preserve because you can't go there unless you do the bison excursion. Like you can't go to that part of the island.
Wildlife.
Yeah.
They
were brought on for a movie. They were brought on to Catalina for a movie, and now there's a wild herd of bison on the island.
I love that.
We were looking at an Alaska itinerary, and at first we were like, okay, this isn't
super cheap.
This isn't our budget. And then we started looking at all the excursions we would want to book, and then all of a sudden it's creeping up and up.
I'm not going to Alaska and not doing excursions,
Yeah.
No, honestly, it's when you budget for Alaska, you've got to budget for the cruise plus the excursions, which basically can double your price depending upon what excursions you do. So it's one of those where you don't do Alaska.
It could triple it depending on what excursions you do.
Yeah, right? I got a budget for that new telephoto lens for my camera also.
You need wife and boss approval for that.
Exactly. Well, I want to ask anything fun coming up with the DCL Magazine? I mean, you've got always fun stuff coming up with WDW Magazine, DLR Magazine, but our audience, of course, Disney Cruise Line fans. So anything fun coming up with DCL Magazine?
Our next issue mails out in September. So or it goes to the printer in September. So it will mail in October. I'm fairly certain I have all those dates right. Mm-hmm. It's either September or October. Ask our editor, Tim. But
issue 2 of DCL Magazine is around the corner.
It's around the corner. There are some really great stories. I'm trying to think about what stories are actually in it.
We have a wonderful story from Brian, who got to do a super exclusive backstage tour on the Destiny.
Yeah. There's a great article from Tim about the Moana show on the Treasure.
Yeah.
You wrote something.
I wrote about Enchanted Garden, which I think is one of the overlooked dining gems on the cruise fleet. There's lots of great stuff coming.
I don't know what I wrote. It was months ago. Tim's deadlines are no joke.
So yeah, DCL issue 2 is over the horizon. Steph and I are going to be visiting Walt Disney World in July to check out some happenings at Fort Wilderness that we're very excited about.
And I know many of our DCL Magazine subscribers and DCL Duo listeners have already bought our annual subscription to DCL Magazine. You can also do the semi-annual, which was just one issue at a time you're basically paying for. So twice a year you get charged, twice a year you get a magazine. But our annual memberships come with the DCL Magazine calendar. So we are this weekend working on laying out the DCL Magazine calendar. Nice. And if you just want the calendar, not the magazine, it's not on sale yet, but it will be in August.
It's going to be beautiful.
And I actually haven't even announced this on our channel yet, on our own channels. So here's a scoop for the DCL people. I didn't plan to talk about this tonight, but we've been talking about the DCL calendar, and we weren't sure if we were going to do the stickers that come with our WDW magazine calendar, if we were going to be able, if we had sold enough people, but we've sold enough people on the subscriptions that it's okay. Boss Steph and wife Steph says yes. Okay, Danny doesn't even know this yet.
No, this is news to me.
We're doing not the same stickers that come with the WW Magazine calendar. We're doing special cruise stickers. So
yes!
35 special cruise stickers for your planning and celebrations and birthday and whatever purposes that will come with that calendar too. So
I am unreasonably excited about this. I have to tell you, this is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for the DCL calendar. I am so excited about the stickers. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm
excited about the stickers.
Our customer survey regularly ranks the planning stickers as one of their favorite parts of our wall calendar, and we listen to the audience. So
I love it.
Here we go.
I know what I wrote for issue 2. It's a very big article about maritime traditions like steel cutting and christening ceremonies and that sort of stuff. So some real ship nerd stuff for you.
And we did get someone in the chat asking, like, what was it like going behind the scenes for? And I will just say for everyone out there,
did an episode.
Yeah, Stephanie did an episode with us all about her behind the scenes tour at the shipyard of the Destiny when it was under construction. So if you want to hear, read the article. It sounds fantastic. I'm going to nerd out on that, but also you can head to our back catalog and hear what that whole experience was like. So.
Absolutely.
And Danny came on to talk about the preview in Toronto as well, to talk about all of the theater
how
stuff.
They rehearsed for Hercules.
Exactly. So that's in the back catalog as well if you're interested in checking out that episode.
Yeah, really special experiences that we got to have.
Well, so grateful.
It has been a blast catching up with both of you. It is always fun to have you on. I can't wait to have you back at some point in the future.
We're going to have to find a time to get you. We have a newly launched podcast, Parks and Pages.
Yes.
And it's about, we've been on DCL Duo enough times. It's high time we had you on Parks and Pages.
Well, you're the scheduler for that.
No, I know. I will figure that out. But my co-host of that podcast, CJ, he hasn't been on a cruise, and I think we might.
It's high time to convince him.
I think Brian and Sam might have to come on Parks and Pages and sell CJ on.
We could absolutely. Yeah. We do it like listen. I sell it like it's my job, even though it's not my job. So.
Sam does the ABC from Glengarry, Glen Ross, but it's always be cruising. Always be cruising.
Always
be cruising.
I love that.
Again, thanks so much for coming on, spending some time with us and our listeners on this Monday evening. For everyone out there watching, listening, we will be back next Monday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And joining us is Rich, who's going to be talking about his Alaska cruise, I believe is what's scheduled. So it is Alaska season. So we got a lot of Alaska content coming out. If you want to see what some of the excursions are looking like, Sam has been helpfully going back to our cruise last year and all of the B-roll we took of bears and glaciers and sled dogs and helicopters.
Oh my.
And trying to put them all together into some reels so you can see what those excursions look like. But we will be talking about that live next Monday.
We will also have a show live next Wednesday with our good friend CT over at Tinfoil Mouse Ears to talk about his adventures by Disney River Cruise that he will be getting off or is maybe just got off the last couple of days. So, so we will actually have 2 live shows next week. I think that one starts at is it 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday.
I
Yeah,
think
so
that's
we're
right.
off by a half hour. So on Monday will be our regular time, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. Wednesday we will be a half hour earlier at 5 p.m.
And
Pacific, 8 Eastern.
And I want to put out one quick call. If you're watching this on YouTube, we're going to start asking this for the next few videos. If you're watching this on YouTube, we're going to have to switch our live show night coming up in the fall because of our son's schedules shifting. And so if you could let us know like a preferred night that you have, we're going to kind of cull through those and figure out what the preferred evening might be for us to do this if we can make it work with our schedule. But yeah, let us know what you think would be a good night for us to do this show. We can't move it any earlier for our East Coast fans. I apologize, but it's, you know, I'm already leaving work a half hour early to get home to do this one. So, but let us know what day you might prefer, and we'll see what we can do to accommodate that. Yeah. Sam.
And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget to check out the Parks and Pages podcast brought to you by WDW Magazine and all of the conglomerates, I should say, of WDW Magazine. It's a great show. And we will see you next week. So thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks, everyone.